common theme for each of these two teams. Ball State has the same two very talented freshmen in their starting five today. We've already touched on the fact that Sean Sellers is their leading scorer so far this year. But how about Jeremy Tyler, the young man that helped lead Indianapolis Tech to a state championship last year? His head coach, Jason Delaney, is in the stands watching this game today. This is a big homecoming day for him as well.
As it should be. He's an enormously talented young man. I mean, he can shoot it, he can score, he can get to the rim. He is, you and I, in an entire state saw last year, he's an electrifying player. Great basketball IQ. And I think what happens is one of those things when you're able to recruit a player of his stature, Greg, it elevates what you're trying to do out on the recruiting trail. So you get a star like a Jeremy Tyler to come with you, means you're doing some great things.
There are two head coaches in this match, as is always the case, but they're also good friends. They both have ties to the University of Arizona. James Whitford is in his second season as the head man at Ball State. Spent some time at Miami of Ohio, so has some ties to the Mid-American Conference through there, but also spent several years in Arizona, the alma mater of one. Jason Gardner, the head coach of IUPUI.
And James will tell you that they revere Jason Gardner to this day at Arizona. And both look at this game, though, with their friendship notwithstanding. That Arizona influence is very strong. It's the Miller influence. It's Archie. It's the influence at Dayton. So it's a lot of Arizona and Dayton we're going to see in these two teams today.
And a lot of Indiana as well. As I see the starting lineups on the floor, Bob, 7 of the 10 players that begin this game hail from the state of Indiana. Josh James on the center jump for IUPUI. Franco House wins it for Ball State. And we are underway with IUPUI basketball here on HTSM.
Reinforces what you and I have known for a long, long time. We have great players in the state of Indiana.
A little bit of a change in the lineup for Ball State. Xavier Turner, another young man from this area. He played for Bill Zick at Pike High School. Suspended for today's game for a violation of team rules. So a little bit of a change at the point guard spot as Ball State turns it over on their opening possession of the game. Mason Archie in rhythm. He's been doing a lot of good things. The transfer from Davidson puts IUPUI in front.
He's a great defender, but also in transition, you have to find him, and I think you're going to see that with both teams. They're both going to see a lot of transition. Offensive foul here, a little quick. Franco House got just a tiny bit quick on setting the screen, but to go back, these are two teams that want to push it up and down if they can, but they share the ball, they pass it well to half court, and they're very patient.
It's an IUPUI team that was not a great three-point shooting team last year. They've been better at it so far this year. 38% from three-point range. Kufu Naji, one of two seniors in the IUPUI roster, misses, and the Cardinals now off to the races. This is Tyler on the bounce inside the three-point line, a 2 for the former Tech player.
Doesn't need much space. You saw it there. One bounce against pressure, knocked down from the top of the key. You got to try to deny, obviously, and not let him get the ball.
This is Marcellus Barksdale, fourth-year junior from Lexington, Kentucky, one of the leaders on this team. That's where Naji is more comfortable. Maybe not that out of control, but he's going to try to get to the glass. Not a great jump shooter as the young man from California, but Ball State gives it away.
Couple of force plays. Naji trying to force the second straight shot, and then Jeremy Tyler has Kayla Mallory out on the break. Just kind of a little bounce pass. It's hard to make from that length and that angle.
All right, so worth noting, the change in the lineup for Ball State is Caleb Mallory. He's a walk-on in terms of the point guard position. They're kind of down to a third string because of the suspension, as well as a previous injury to Jeremiah Davis, young man from Muncie, that spent some time in Cincinnati.
Well, the backcourt depth is going to be an interesting factor in today's game, though, Greg. I mean, I think depth is one of the things that IUPUI has, not only in the backcourt, but let's see if, in fact, it becomes a factor.
Shot clock at 13. Now Brennan on the drive, throws up the left hand, does not go, and IUPUI a little out of control on their last 3 looks at the basket.
3 straight dribble drives, penetration, not under control, don't gather themselves, maybe kick it out.
Franco House with the missed 3, and Barksdale grabs the weak side board. Archie seems to be no worse for wear after taking a tumble to the floor. Kufu Naji missed that shot, but again, that's his game. That's kind of the mid-range game you want to see him use for IUPUI. Sellers racing back, and he got too far underneath the basket. These two teams not exactly setting the world on fire offensively here in the first 2.5 minutes.
We're in that feeling-out process, to be generous right now, Greg.
PJ Boutte awaits to check in for IUPUI, the game's first sub, and you're going to see a blocking foul called against Josh James. James, a freshman. Now, he's 3 years removed from his high school playing days. He played at Andrean High School and went to go play at Quakerdale Prep in Iowa. But to me, I have seen a massive improvement in his game from his freshman year to his sophomore season.
Yeah, I think Jason Gardner will say the same thing. He's becoming more of an offensive force. He's getting more comfortable. I think you talked about confidence earlier. He's getting it. He's got a high basketball IQ, as the coach likes to say, and playing much better offensively.
An open look for Sellers. Good job by James to get that interior position to block out Matt Kamenicki.
And just if he can do that, defend, rebound, set a screen, score when he has to, he'll pay huge dividends with this group.
Well, P.J. Boutte in for IUPUI, played at Howe High School, transferred from the University of Detroit. Was with the program a season ago, sitting out his transfer year.
But just be ready, because he's gonna create and make good things happen.
And Mason Archie, the second, trying to do too much that time, and it's the first IUPUI turnover.
Let's give a little credit to the defenses on both sides, Greg. Both teams playing straight man-to-man, great pressure on the ball, tremendous help. They're both well-schooled, well-disciplined in this regard. It's difficult. You're going to have to do some things other than put it on the deck and try to beat people one-on-one against these defenses.
And a giveaway by Ball State. And I realize they're down a point guard today, but some of these turnovers aren't exactly because of the point guard spot.
Just as I talk about great defense, there's a turnover that has nothing to do with defense.
Ball State has turned it over 31 times in 2 games this season. Tough to get a read because probably haven't played someone truly to their level at this point in time.
I think that's a great point.
Having played at Utah and competed with Utah last Friday night, then played IU Kokomo, the NAIA 2 ranks on Monday night. That's a 3 for Mason Archie that does not go. Barksdale, the weak side rebound, couldn't grab it. It'll be out of bounds to Ball State.
Yeah, but the Barksdale dimension is you can post him, you can play him at a wing. You see him posted against Tyler, gets the pass, thinks opposite, throws to a spotted up Mason Archie. Again, he's a facilitator. Things go through him because you have to make decisions on how to guard him.
Barksdale, a guy that'll get you a few of everything. Some rebounds, some assists, some steals. Kamenicki. James got a piece of that. Then he got it back. Kamenicki draws the foul, and he'll shoot free throws after our first media timeout. IUPUI got the opening bucket. They haven't scored again, but they're still enjoying a 3-2 lead here on HTSN.
It's the $6.99 Pick Your Pairs deal at Pizza Hut. Pick 2 medium pizzas and a total of 4 toppings for $6.99 each. Want 2 toppings on one and 2 on the other? 3 in 1? Get it however you want and on your favorite crusts. Pan thin and crispy or hand tossed. Just $6.99 a pizza. Pizza Hut.
Come and click on high.
Alongside Bob Lovell, Greg Rakestraw with you here. Our debut broadcast for the season of IUPUI basketball on HTSN. We'll do it again next Saturday. In fact, you can kind of set your calendars to us for the next several Saturdays. We'll be on 4 of the next 5 Saturdays at 1 o'clock, including today. And I cannot tell you much I'm looking forward to next Saturday's game. Ron Hunter, R.J. Hunter, Georgia State coming back to Indianapolis. First time Ron has coached here since leaving IUPUI some 3+ seasons ago. And his son that I've known since he's about 3 years old, probably about a year away from playing in the NBA.
I don't think there's any question. And to Ron's credit and to Mike Moore and Jason, everyone's credit to get him to come back with his team. It'll be a bittersweet day for him, but I think he'll be so incredibly excited about where the program is under his direction and what they've achieved. And you're right. Pay attention to Georgia State and pay attention to RJ because they are going to do big, big things this year.
Matt Kamenicki, 6'8" senior from Clarkston, Michigan, with his first point of the game, first free throw that either side has attempted. Make it 1 for 1. So 3-all were tied. Aaron Brennan did not play in the opener versus Indiana State, but has played major minutes since that time. Basketball back in his hands now, the freshman from Garin Catholic High School. Last time he saw Sean Sellers on a basketball court, it was not a good experience for Aaron. Barksdale has it ripped away. Shot clock down to 6 now. Archie realizes that. Nice little jump stop in the lane. Couldn't get it to go, but 2 Ball State players fight for the basketball, and IUPUI will maintain possession. Subs, by the way, for both sides. Player just in for Ball State is Bo Calhoun, a junior from South Bend, Washington. Also at the break, Rocco Belcaster, a sophomore from Berwyn, Illinois, checks in. And for IUPUI, Dave Ron Williams enters the game for the first time.
You know, Greg, one of the things about the Jaguars is, half of their points come from the bench. So, at this stage of the year, this is not uncommon. This is what Coach Gardner does. He's a deep bench, talented bench, not afraid to go there.
Giveaway by IUPUI, the second Jaguar turnover. Now Sellers on the bounce, and a little bit of a nudge going to be called that time against Mason Archie. Out of bounds to Ball State.
Well, it certainly doesn't hurt you to have a guy like Sean Sellers, 6'6", 195, who can play the three, can catch it, pass it, take it to the rim, make great decisions. Fast break's part of their offense. They want to get in transition, get easy ones if they can.
Of course, Sellers part of that remarkable run that Greensburg had the last couple of years. Back-to-back 3A state titles. Brennan tips that ball away. Fourth Ball State turnover. Leo Sveti. That's what he does, is go to the corner, sit there and camp. Transfer from Western Michigan, his first touch of the game. And, you know, a lot of guys, you'd kind of say, hey, get a couple of runs up and down the floor before you take that shot. Not Leo. That's why he's on scholarship.
Absolutely.
Shoot the basketball.
And certainly that's what you want him to do. You know, you love the hustle on Aaron Brennan, though. You know, comes down, gets the steal, comes down and gets a chance to get the rebound. Just great effort, great energy.
Sveti, a young man that has missed most of the last 2 years due to knee injuries, both the high school and collegiate level. Sellers on the run, gets his first bucket, and Ball State takes the lead for the first time.
Runs him off a curl cut, gets the contact, strong, the finish.
PJ Boutte had an open look, couldn't get it to go. Now a run-on opportunity for Ball State. Belcaster in the corner. That three no good. And again, good job by Brennan getting inside position.
Absolutely, absolutely. Good transition, good look. Ball State can't get a better look, but right now, Greg, Jags just cannot get one to go. They've had good looks from the right people.
That's a good look. Aaron Brennan lays it in, and we're tied at 5.
Well, just slips the screen. You know, the ball screen for Sveti. Leo makes a great pass. Aaron Brennan on a great finish.
Pace starting to pick up now a bit. Calhoun lets it fly from 17, and good-looking jumper for the junior from South Bend.
He's just been a solid player for him, Greg. Dependable, solid. That's a bonus to get that jumper for him.
7 points and 4 rebounds in the first 2 games for Calhoun. Barksdale on the bounce. Sellers is there to swat it away. Still plenty of time on the shot clock here for IUPUI. But a forced pass by Barksdale.
Tough pass to make. I mean, great. You had defense on the backside of it. Tough angle to make.
And that three will draw nothing. Good hustle by Ball State to go get it, but Caleb Mallory wide left.
Caleb Mallory just got in a situation, Greg, where he was open but shouldn't have shot it. You know, you could just see when it left his hand, he wasn't in rhythm, did not have good enough control. Again, you give credit to a couple of teams that are just banging away on one another defensively. Pace is a little quick. I think both coaches would like to see a couple of extra passes on each possession to kind of get themselves settled, get a little side to side, get yourself an opportunity to set some screens and get better angles than what you have to this point.
Couple new faces for IUPUI. Justice Standback, the sophomore from West Lafayette. And DJ McCall, Indiana All-Star from Fort Wayne Concordia Lutheran this past season. Gets into the game, and Bo Calhoun will commit the foul for Ball State. And another Indiana native about to enter for IUPUI. Elijah Ray will come in. It is an all-Indiana 5 on the floor for IUPUI.
Well, we're 12:53 left, and you've seen 10 players for IUPUI hit the court to this point. And you know, this is what Coach Gardner does. In, out, opportunity, you know, stay fresh, play hard.
Sveti, the baseline jumper, no good. And Belcaster will track down the rebound. Tyler has returned for Ball State, and on cue, ball finds him. Ball doesn't find the bottom of the net. And the rebound to Boutte for IUPUI. Nobody will move at the pace that this kid does. Sveti was open for a while. McCall is there with a weak side putback.
You know, no one gets a body on DJ McCall, and you know what he does? I mean, as a freshman, has a great nose for the ball, great defender. And you think back when he played on that championship run at Concordia, he made big baskets. He can take it to the rim.
And the shot is up and short. Another new face in for Ball State. Tyler on the putback and gets the floater. First shot taken by Francis IUPUI, and he is a freshman from Ontario who is making his season debut for Ball State. Had an injury that kept him out the first 2 games of the year.
Yeah, but IUPUI is a strong kid, quick kid, does a lot of good things.
And that off the hands of McCall. Turnover against IUPUI, and it leads us to our media timeout. Both teams now starting to find a bit of a rhythm in this early Saturday afternoon game at the Coliseum. Cardinals lead 9-7.
It's pretty simple.
That's
This state.
He's a legend in our state, and rightfully so. And I think the playing career overseas was very instrumental in his helping him understand some things about the game from a different perspective. And clearly, you know, his pedigree in terms of under whom he's worked and studied and coached is really significant and prepared him well for this opportunity.
One other new name to get in there for Ball State, Big Gill. He is a junior from Toronto, Ontario. So one of a couple of Canadians on the floor for the Cardinals. Early in the season, both these teams using a lot of players early in the game. Shot clock at 13. Calhoun going to work. Nice little turnaround jump hook over Elijah Ray.
Yeah, I mean, Calhoun's come in, made one at the elbow, comes in, a little baby hook. You know, here's a junior, as you point out, gives him some significant minutes.
First lead by more than a basket for either team here in today's game. Second straight game against an in-state opponent here in this facility for IUPUI. Ray is certainly capable of taking that shot, but he can do that as well. Get to the basket and draw a foul. Elijah has some work to do at the defensive end, but offensively, he's an asset for Jason Gardner.
Well, he's got a clear side, Greg, on the left side. It's a little shot fake, penetration. Ball State uncharacteristically doesn't slide down and take away the dribble penetration, and he can get to the rim. I think to this point, one significant thing has been the defensive effort on the part of Ball State on P.J. Butte. They've taken away his dribble penetration. That's the one thing that in these previous games for PJ and for IUPUI is his ability to get to the rim and make you have to collapse defensively, kick out, find the right guys. He can also knock down shots. But the defensive effort right now, Ball State's taking a little bit of that away.
So Ray collects both free throws. Brings the Jaguars back within 2. Kamenicki back in there for the Cardinals. Tyler off of the curl, and that's an offensive set they want to see all day long. Tyler on the bucket.
Well, they do want to see it all day long, but credit Big Gill for setting a great screen. You know, taking it, not getting the foul, big body, great curl move, and good finish.
Sveti from 15, a rare 2-point basket for Leo Sveti.
Well, sometimes you need to penetrate pitch, get yourself going. It's like, that little drag bunt when you're a hitter and you're in a slump, Greg. You remember those days? Do something different. And just as I'm bragging on him, Big Gill gets the foul on the illegal screen.
Well, each of these two teams will be, if you make a mistake in one sense, you could be going to the bench, but probably not for long because you'll come right back in. These two teams are really pretty very much on a similar kind of growth chart. Maybe
There's no
Ball
question.
State is a year in front because Whitford has been there for a second year, but they're almost mirror images of each other at this point.
But the other thing, too, Greg, is that both teams live by the mantra of we have to play harder than our opponents.
Not exactly a shot that is in Standback's arsenal at this point.
You'd kind of like him to maybe give it up and get it back.
And Sellers hit on the arm and gets the and one opportunity.
Saw him do that enough in the last 3 years, didn't we? Well, the thing about it, he gets out, he fills the lane very quickly. He can sprint the floor, and you'll see this. It is 1 bounce, 2 bounce to the rim, and he knows how to finish. You look at him and you think, well, he's kind of thin. He's 6'6", 195, but he has, he can take contact. And as you just saw there, from the free throw line extended, 2 quick bounces, and he's at the rim for the finish.
Sellers now with 5. He's at 26 and 18 in his first 2 games as a Ball State Cardinal. Largest lead now for the Cards at 5. Going to be a kick called against Franco House. As Marcellus Barksdale about to re-enter for IUPUI.
It's interesting, we talk about Jeremy Tyler and all the things he does offensively, but if you just get a chance to focus on what he's done, he's matched up, again, with P.J. Butte. And these guys know each other, played against each other in high school, AAU. They know, and there's a little bit of a challenge, but, Tyler has done a nice job to limit what Butte's able to do on penetration.
And shot clock on your screen. Not much time here for IUPUI. Recognized by Butte. That's the right shot. It's not the right result for the Jaguars. Butte yet to score off the bench for IUPUI. IUPUI. Good looking drive to Franco House, but he's kind of lost that ball in the tall timber. Standback takes it away. That is much more in his range.
I was going to say, you feel better about that one, Coach, because that's exactly what it is. But sometimes, you're open, you think you're open, and still it's not a great shot. But that was good effort to gather himself, not walk, go to the left hand and get a hoop.
First field goal or points of the year for Stanback. He's appeared in all 4 games and not scored until that moment. Here's an easy look for IUPUI that he cannot get to go. Good board by Kamenicki. They're going to wave off the shot, say the foul was on McCall trying to go for the loose ball.
Yeah, but I love Kamenicki on this play. You'll see him catch the ball at the elbow, and there's not a white shirt around him. IUPUI, tremendous quickness to get inside and get pressure on the ball. Kamenicki catches, has the presence of mind to know that Jeremy Tyler's in that right corner, Greg, and gives it up. And it's a great-looking shot that just doesn't go in. And Kamenicki, without a white shirt on him, does the dirty work. Just the little things you don't necessarily talk that much about, he's doing it.
12th different player already in for IUPUI. Jalen McCallum, young man from Marion. His older brother J-Rob played here last year at IUPUI. McCallum guarding Caleb Mallory. Guarantee you those two guys know each other from the North Central Conference days facing each other. And reach in going to be called on the slap down, either McCallum or Barksdale. It's going to be McCallum that gets whistled for the foul.
Franco House goes to his left. Now you think about this. Franco House played at Concord, happened to play for a young man who I coached at Franklin College, and Steve Austin. But he's lost nearly 30 pounds. He's reshaped his body, redone his body, gotten quicker, and literally has gotten stronger, made himself a better basketball player. He was a little bit, maybe more one-dimensional, but now with the drop in weight, he's gotten a little more aggressive with the ball, and he's a tough matchup and can be.
His first points of this game. Well, Franco was quite the football player in high school as well,
absolutely.
wasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. But here was a kid that, he's a competitor, big, strong kid inside, now able to run the court and do some things, better defender, better rebounder, a little quicker, obviously, to the rim.
Those are his first 2 free throw attempts for the year, and plenty for James Whitford to smile about. 5-point lead again for the Cardinals. Fufu Naji now back on the floor for IUPUI. Young man from Berkeley, California. Williams jump hook and score. Davron Williams, he too from Marion, Indiana. Transfer from North Carolina Central. Set out last year. This is his lone year in an IUPUI uniform. Tyler tried to do a bit too much that time. Lost the handle. And it'll be IUPUI basketball when we come back. As competitive as we thought it would be, Ball State maintains a 3-point lead as you watch IUPUI basketball on HTSN.
It's the $6.99 Pick Your Pairs deal at Pizza Hut. Pick 2 medium.
Free transportation. This, crazy as it sounds, Greg, this enterprise is supposed to be about the students, and they certainly have backed it up and are committed to it, and it's paying dividends for them.
Both teams picking up the offensive pace as of late. Barksdale. It's amazing to say this. Marcellus, for all the things he does well as a basketball player, is not a great shooter.
No.
But what he just did there in playing the passing lanes, that's what he gives you as a basketball player.
Well, he's a scorer, but he is a multi-dimensional player. And yeah, he's frustrated that may have forced a shot over Kamenicki, but sprints back and does what you're supposed to do. On the other side, I'd like to have Brad Sellers as your point forward. Gets a rebound, penetrating, pushes it up the floor in transition.
Davron Williams has other ideas on that shot. McCallum will run the offense for IUPUI.
Great patience, great decision. Everybody gets set, get a better look at it.
3 of this year's Indiana All-Stars on the floor together right now. Sellers and Tyler for Ball State, McCall for IUPUI, but it's the 5th-year senior that gets the attention here.
Well, it's just great penetration on the part of Sellers, but how about it? I mean, you're holding your spot, you're there, and as you mentioned, Williams did a nice job to get the ball, didn't slap. Great defensive play.
Good defensive work by House, and McCallum loses the handle. Now Tyler off to the races and scores.
That's the one thing about him, in transition, he can finish. He's so quick, He accelerates, got to the rim ahead of everybody.
That sort of breakaway speed was common to see for Arsenal Tech on their way to a state championship a year ago.
Yeah, but you just don't, the turnover leads to a hoop, something that hurts the Jags right now. 4 shots have been an issue to this point.
McCallum lets fire and buries it. McCallum's first field goal of the season is a 3-point basket.
Well, penetrate, pitch out by Marcellus Barksdale. McCallum wide open, great look, big basket. Needed one right there.
First 3 since the opening possession for IUPUI. And no player for the Jaguars has scored more than a basket so far in this half. Good read by Barksdale to get in the passing lanes and knock that one away from Kamenecki. And a reach-in foul against Jeremy Tyler.
Just good rotation on the part of Barksdale. I mean, you think about it, the pass just a little bit behind, a little lazy pass, but great defensive effort. And I think both teams, Greg, really just this early in the season, I think you have to be impressed with the intensity and the execution of both teams' defenses.
I don't think lack of effort is going to be a problem for either of these two teams this year.
Absolutely not. That's the most impressive thing to this point. They're playing hard. They're both just playing hard.
The two seniors trying to work together for IUPUI, but Najee throws it away.
You're best suited to make the bounce pass to the post when he has him on his hip, and that's a hard pass to try to complete.
Jaguars led early. Ball State has really led since about the first media timeout. House gets fouled. Williams going for the block again. That time got too much of the arm.
See, and I think Franco House recognizes he has Marcellus Barksdale on him. So, shot fake, goes to the rim. Knows he's got a smaller guy on him. Draws the contract from Williams. Go to the line.
One of the great things that Barksdale can do for this IUPUI team, Bob, is he can guard about 3 or 4 different positions.
Absolutely.
But he's given up at least 30 pounds to House in the low block.
Yeah, but I think that's unfortunately with you got a couple of post players. Here's Aaron Brennan coming back and Josh James. You're a little thin numbers-wise of people up front, so guys are going to play multiple spots, and especially someone like Marcellus Barksdale. We forget he's 6'5". But you're right. The matchup with Franco House and Marcellus, as temporary as it might have been, is not a good one.
Ball State now 5 of 6 from the free throw line as House goes a perfect 3 for 3. Concord High School, his alma mater. I think it's safe to say Sean Kemp still would be
absolutely.
the most famous basketball player from Concord High School. House will check out as Bick Gill will re-enter. Jaw has taken a seat amongst the fans here in the early stages of this game. Second of 5 non-conference home games that IUPUI will have this season. The remainder of them on Saturdays between now and mid-December. Williams, nice use, the left hand by Davron.
I'll tell you what, Davron has played well. He works hard to get position. Went to the left, has gone to the right. Done a nice job defensively. Significant minutes right now, Greg.
Tyler to Gill. Gill bobbles, but is fouled.
This has really caused problems for the Jaguars. This little pin down, little curl cut off of it, the curl and then the slip. They did it very well, executed it well. A little bit behind in terms of defensively. You want to step out and give some help, but then you got to sprint back and cover up. And Big Gill has done a nice job with it.
Gill played at Owens Community College before coming to Ball State. So far, his points this season have all come from the free throw line. His first of the game and just third of the year.
Down there doing the dirty work, on the glass, trying to post up, do some things.
Well, he's last in scoring. However, he has 8 rebounds on the year coming into today's game and is averaging 22 minutes a game. So the translation is, you do the dirty work, you find minutes to get on the floor.
Absolutely. And again, go back right here. You've gotten good mileage out of posting up Davron Williams. Try to go back to him as much as you can.
2 freshmen. Two seniors and a fourth-year junior on the floor for IUPUI, and right idea by Barksdale, but McCall just wasn't ready for that pass.
I couldn't agree more. Right idea, tough pass to complete. And now if you're Ball State, you're up 4, chance to bump it up to 3 possessions.
IUPUI. Gill for 3.
Probably
He's
not a
for the
shot he
season on
necessarily
those.
wants to take, or Coach Whitford wants him to take. You know, and the key here, you're trying to get some easy hoops in transition, and one of the keys for both teams is not give up easy transition hoops, and Ball State did a nice job to get back and take away the opportunity.
Largest lead for either team is 5, and Daveron Williams couldn't hit the brakes in time. He'll pick up the foul, and that'll also send us to the media timeout. These two teams, as we expected, awfully close to one another. Cardinals have the ball at a 4-point lead when we come back on HTSN.
This moment, it's been 40 years in the making.
Just go ahead, get the extra pass. You know, take the things that are there, but don't try to force things. On the other end of the floor, look, we need to do a better job of the curl cut. We need to do a much better job of stopping transition. But take care of the ball. Don't force. Better ball movement, quicker ball movement, as opposed to just trying to force some passes to the post that aren't there.
Mason Archie back in for IUPUI. He had the game's first bucket for the Jaguars. And IUPUI has already put every player on the roster but one into today's game. A little extended half-court trap here for IUPUI, and it leads to a turnover by Ball State.
Yeah, what I think you saw, though, coming out of that timeout, Greg, was a much more intense approach at the defensive effort here at the half court. You saw a little trap when they had the opportunity. It just seemed coming out of that timeout, you know, I think Coach Gardner got into him a little bit and said we need to pick up the intensity, especially on the defensive end, and then take better care of the ball, and we'll see if that works here.
These two teams showing their respective youth, though, in one aspect now. 9 turnovers for each team so far. Up, under, and drawing the foul by Marcellus Barksdale, and no argument there from Franco House.
No, and this is what Marcellus Barksdale does. I mean, you look at the matchup. So, you know, you've got big on little, if you will. You've got House, or you primarily have House on him right there. And maybe for a second, you know, you think kick it out, but you get up, the up and under, you shot fake, step up, and draw the foul.
We touched on this briefly in the opening of the broadcast as Barksdale misses the first free throw. You call him the future governor of the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Explain why.
Well, he's a bright guy.
Yeah.
He's a personable guy. And he is a guy who people follow. He is the acknowledged leader on and off the court for this group. And he is an affable, personable guy, an intelligent guy. And frankly, I think he has an unlimited future, Greg. It doesn't matter what he's going to do. There's no doubt in my mind he'll be extremely successful at it.
First point for Barksdale becomes the 9th different player to score. Archie, the steal and the flush.
Well, you love it because it going out half-court trap the last 2 times down, trap the first pass by Ball State. You rotate up, the great finish, see if they can continue it. You got to be careful. It's energized everybody in the building.
Barksdale on the bounce and score, and IUPUI is back in front of it immediately. James Whitford asks for a 30-second timeout. The defensive pressure turned up, and the energy rises as well.
Well, again, you know, you play a lot of kids, you have fresh kids, and you have the right group out there, and you see the finish, you see the steal, you know, and you have to be straight man-to-man, and then come back and do it, pick and choose your spots. But they're energized enough right now, clearly, they want to go ahead and continue to press if they can. Now they've moved it up to full court. Again, it's a different look. It's the same thing, but it's a different look at the basic.
A 5-0 run here for IUPUI, and
How about
Brennan with the takeaway. 3 straight turnovers by Ball State.
Well, now
Jags
just
have capitalized the last 2 trips.
be patient. You know, harness that energy that you got defensively. Don't speed yourself up on the offensive end.
That's a dozen giveaways by Ball State. But Barksdale, again, that's not the shot that really is part of Marcellus's game.
Sometimes, though, you get a little energized, you get excited about what you did defensively, and you're not able to channel it on the other end.
Boutte the steal.
And finish.
Basket for P.J. Boutte. The two kids that played for IPS schools going at it, and Boutte gets the better of that battle.
Well, picks his pocket, in the half court, and you'll see it. Gets the steal, gets the crossover move that doesn't work. Now watch as he draws the contact, gets underneath. Once he feels it, gets it on the rim, lets gravity take its course. What a great hoop.
Had a chance to cover P.J. in a number of All-Star games. He did not make the Indiana All-Star team his senior year, but played in a lot of the other games, and in a lot of years, frankly, he would have been an Indiana All-Star. An outstanding player and a great pickup for IUPUI a season ago.
Well, talking to Coach Whitford, he's the guy that he feared the most because of the energy and the spark that he provided coming off the bench.
Kamenicki against the press, stripped by Brennan. And off the knee of Kamenicki. That is another turnover for Ball State. That is 5 possessions in a row with a giveaway.
After the timeout, Greg, the whole thing goes back and you watch. Great effort on the part of Brennan not to draw the foul. And who's that guy? Blocks it. Barksdale comes from behind. You call timeout, you get in your guys, you take a chance, get the half-court trap. It works again.
8-0 run. Brennan tips it out of bounds, but Boutte could not track it down.
And if you're Ball State, if you're James Whitford, if you get a chance to tell your kids, look, as badly as we've played in this stretch, 5 straight without getting a look, we're only down 2 possessions. So just weather the storm, take care of it, and get a basket.
Largest lead for IUPUI. Open look for Sellers. Ball State will take that every time.
How many times do you see him at Greensburg when they need a big basket? He steps up and gets a big basket. That's a big basket by a freshman.
Right at Kamenicki, and the basket for Marcellus Barksdale.
Great delivery on the part of Boutte. Barksdale at the elbow. He recognizes his defenders kind of left him, makes a great cut to the rim, the catch, the finish, the foul. You'll see him right here, nobody around him. Kamenicki just a tiny bit late. Barksdale can finish. Remember, here's the 6'6" kid who played the point for him a year ago. And we talk about his versatility in matchups, but give P.J. Boutte credit. Recognizes, great delivery. Answer that 3 with a 3 if you can.
1 for 3, though, from the free throw line today. Not naturally a great free throw shooter, but I think back to the opener against Indiana State. He's the guy you want on the line with 0.3 seconds left, needing to hit 2 to send it to overtime, and that's exactly what Barksdale did. And strips it away from Belcaster. Archie, bucket.
Great decision on the part of Barksdale because Boutte, Archie out in the lanes, look them off, give it to the finisher.
Runner in the lane does not go. The tip, though, is good by Bick Gill. And a 30-second timeout taken by IUPUI.
Well, you got to use it and lose it, as they say. Good time to take it. Come down, use as much clock as you can unless you get the good look. And I love the run here in this half. It's hard not to get excited about the way they play.
For Bick Gill, that was his first. We'll, of course, have highlights and stats for you. Also have to be joined by Julie Reagan from the School of Informatics and Computing at IUPUI. We'll find somebody smarter than me to explain exactly what that is at IUPUI coming up at halftime.
I can do that, but I think Julie will be much better.
There we go.
So you got 2 shooters, in Archie and Sveti. You got them on the wings.
Can you see both the game clock and shot clock on your screen?
Now you got to go.
Wild pass by Boutte. The leave, Tyler no, Sellers yes. And Ball State scores the last 4 points of the half. The putback by Sellers means he is the game's only double-figure scorer. But it's still an IUPUI lead by a point going to the halftime break. Our score at halftime on the floor. If you're just joining us, Xavier Turner. Young man that had an outstanding freshman year last year for Ball State. Young man from Pike High School, suspended for today's game, violation of team rules.
And you bring it up, this without Turner, going to the press has been great, and it's paid dividends. I know I've said it multiple times, but that's a great move. They don't have that outstanding ball handler.
Sellers on the bounce and going to be called for taking an extra step. That is now 17 turnovers against Ball State.
Not going with the Euro step, huh?
If it's not whistled, it's a Euro step.
Absolutely.
If it's whistled, that's just traveling.
And what's frustrating is that James Whitford, the first thing he said to his guys when he got in the locker room was take care of the basketball. First possession, first touch, turnover.
Jags going inside in the first two possessions, and Brennan gets his second bucket of the game.
Well, again, I mean, you think about it. You talked about adjustments. I said, so do a little different things, take an extra pass, get the work inside out. First two touches in the post, good looks.
Brennan played at Guerin Catholic High School, made it to the 3A semi-state last year where he was defeated by Sean Sellers and Greensburg High School.
And as good a game as I think I've ever seen.
You were on the call
oh, my
that game
goodness.
on radio on 1070 The Fan, and that had the Tiernan Center rocking last March.
Well, Greensburg was down and out in that game and somehow came, well, it was Bryant McIntosh. It helped him in large respect.
Kamenicki down low, misses the bucket. Blocked by James and rebounded by Barksdale.
Just like the young guys up front for IUPUI, and then the sneak in from Kamenicki to get some things going.
As we said earlier, lack of hustle, not a problem on these two teams. Ball State comes out of there with it. Franco House grabs it. Ball State takes a 30-second timeout. It should translate into a full timeout as the first 30-second break of this half. So with that, let's step aside. Jaguars enjoying a 34-31 lead. Early stages of half number 2 on HTSN. HTSN, you see the graphics. All of these games available on ESPN3 as well. Great to see Ball State as part of this television package. The other non-conference games, Georgia State next Saturday, Eastern Kentucky on December the 13th, and South Alabama on December the 20th. Before we get into Summit League play in January.
Get a chance to see a couple of our favorite coaches,
Yeah.
Ron Hunter, and how about the return of Matthew Graves?
That ball kicked by Brennan, so you'll put the shot clock back up to 15 there. Matthew in his second year at South Alabama. Of course, former Butler player, then longtime Butler assistant. There will be a jump in the Greene County population here at the Coliseum on that day. I'm assuming half of Switch City will be here to watch that game.
The entire town, the entire town of Switch City will be here.
To mention Austin Carazia from Linton, part of that South Alabama team. Shot clock now at 9. Brennan the block. Sellers the rebound. Again, it's got to go up. Kid doesn't play like a freshman, does he?
Not at all.
Knew that immediately and put it up.
Not at all. Not at all. We talk about basketball IQ, and there it is. How about Aaron Brennan as another freshman?
He's got some IQ as well from a basketball standpoint. Great job to avoid the contact.
Yeah. Well, and he's been hurt. He's back now. He's healthy, but just he'll sprint the floor. He will go ahead and play. I mean, he plays hard at both ends.
And Sellers was out of bounds when he caught the basketball.
I think when Butte in to start, I mean, you look at the pressure he could put on the ball. And you look at Archie. Archie's a tough matchup at that 2 spot. Here he's 6'3", 6'4", can handle Tyler. I like the pressure that those guys have put on them. And this is, again, a situation where Ball State really, really needs Xavier Turner.
Butte, tough shot. Good job by Brennan, though, to fight for the loose ball.
Huh? Who's there?
James, the bucket for IUPUI.
The young guys up front have started out well this half. Now P.J. Butte gets a foul. You just, you don't need to foul, but to go back. Josh James, Aaron Brennan, 2 young guys. Greg, it's the reward for playing hard. I mean, think about it. You play hard, you're going to get rewarded for it. Now IUPUI moves the pressure up a little bit.
11 different players have scored today for IUPUI, led by Mason Archie, who has 7. Sellers. And again, that's what you've got to avoid if you're IUPUI. You cannot give him an open look.
Well, you went to the trap, okay? You went to your 3/4 court press. Ball State through middle, kicked it out to Sellers. Nobody rotated over. The beauty of Sean Sellers' game, he can score inside, he can score out. not afraid to take the big shot. And now that momentum that you had, you got a 7-point lead, is now down to a couple of hoops.
Barksdale with a left hand.
How about going right at him? The ability to post up a guy who was your point guard a year ago and have him make decisions and go to the rim is a big plus.
Drive to the basket. James got a piece. Calhoun fights for the loose ball, and Brennan touched it last. Out of bounds to Ball State.
How about the job, though, that Josh James has done? We've talked about him, and Jason talked about it before. He's getting better. He's getting more confident. He's starting to pick up his game offensively, too, which is something that has taken a while. And then you have the energy-type player, the bigger body in Aaron Brennan, the kid who can do a lot of things offensively and defensively.
James, the tallest Jaguar player at 6'9". And he's also spent some time in the weight room. He's gotten stronger. And a foul going to be called on Franco House. And that's one of those plays where Franco's strength actually was to his detriment on that play.
Yeah, it's the second one he's had. And, both are avoidable. That one especially. You can't set the screen, you can't set it. If you're behind, don't compound the problem and get the foul.
And Barksdale goes right at Sellers, and that might be the best way to slow down Sellers, is try to get some fouls on him and have him spend some time on the bench.
Well, it's a good idea, but it's a great play. You got a two-guard front, and you got a high post, so you basically got a 2-1-2. You throw to Barksdale on the right wing. You don't cut guards through. You just clear out and let him take it to the rim. Better get it in.
Just in time for IUPUI. Full shot clock to work with here.
See, ball movement side to side is something you didn't see a lot in the first half.
Boutte, a deep three, but James is there for the offensive
him.
rebound. Right back to PJ, who leaves it for Brennan.
See what I mean?
This is a hockey barn. There should be 2 assists on that play.
And let me tell you one thing, though. I mean, you're 15:50 left in this half, and Coach Gardner has not gone to his bench yet. He went to the bench, got everybody in that first half. Obviously has shortened up the rotation here to start the second half, and this group has played awfully well to start the half.
Largest lead of the game for either side, now at 42-34. House powers his way in.
I think he just said, I'm scoring. You need to get out of the way because I'm going to put this in.
His first field goal, he's got 6. Boutte lost the handle.
That's great defense on the part of Caleb Mallory. Got him from behind.
Turnovers right now +8 in favor of IUPUI. 18 giveaways for Ball State, 10 for the Jaguars. That was their first of the half. Nearly another one. And let's see if that ball was touched by an IUPUI player.
I don't know.
As of now, that's the way the call stands. We'll see if it sticks that way.
The rim and gets the tie-up.
Ray giving up about 3 inches to Kamenicki in that battle on the low block.
Yeah, just did not get him off, get enough body into him to keep him off.
Those free throws, by the way, the first of the year attempted by Tyler. Sellers fights through traffic and some contact as well. Same for Kamenicki. And the foul is called, and right now, he's a little more hustle and want to out of Ball State.
I couldn't agree more. I think in large part because if you just look, here's the perfect example. You'll see in your screen nobody. Kamenicki comes from the right wing where he had the ball, made the pass inside. Nobody got a body on him. I don't think it's coincidental that, Coach Gardner, you got to go to your bench, you got to get them in. But since he's rotated people in and has his starters on the bench, you just feel a noticeable change. You see it right now. Not as energized, not executing as well at either end of the floor. It's allowed Ball State to climb back in.
Well, rebounds at halftime tilted in favor of Ball State. That trend has continued, and now it's paying off. It had been a while since either team had scored, but now it's a 7-0 run for the Cardinals, and they're back within 1.
And they've just done it with hard work, execution, out and literally outworked the Jags on the offensive and defensive ends.
They're going to get IUPUI for a foul, and good job by IUPUI. They quickly recognized the mismatch with IUPUI guarding the stronger Elijah Ray and didn't get points out of it, but drew a foul out of the mismatch.
And you like the patience. You like the fact that they're being patient at the half court.
Sveti run really set for that one. And we have a referee that goes down. Thankfully, he appears to be okay. Scramble for the loose ball. Elijah Ray with it. Sellers takes it away. If it's a jump ball, it will go back to IUPUI. Right. We got to separate some players. Everybody appears to be all right.
Everybody's good.
And the official that went down is our lead referee today.
May have been some contact on Sellers, but there's plenty of contact on this one.
Steve McJunkins is okay. He's our lead official that went down at the start of that play, and it didn't get any better looking from that point in time forward.
He kind of got clipped, didn't see it. It's a great hustle, just emblematic of how it's gone for both teams.
Barksdale. Good look, would not go, and we'll tie it up again. A flurry of possession arrows that you rarely get in this level of the sport.
Absolutely. But again, I just think that both teams continue to play hard. I think Coach Gardner got to rest his starters, that group that did so well, get him a little more time on the sidelines, buy a little more time with him, and get ready to make the big push.
Mallory back in there for Ball State. Ball State looking for their first lead of the half. And Belcaster just drug that pivot foot, and that'll lead us to the media timeout. Jaguars have been struggling since the last media break, but they maintain a 1-point lead. 11:55 left to go.
You spend a lot of time with them, understand how they play. You'll get out and you'll compete. You'll get better, and that's going to be a spectacular game next weekend.
Looking forward to it. We've had a pretty good one here between Ball State and IUPUI. Ray traveled. Little hop in his step, trying to turn into Franco House.
House has him, has a good position. Ray trying to get the momentum, but he shuffled the feet. It just kills you, Greg, coming out of a timeout. You don't get a shot at the rim.
That's a bucket for IUPUI over 4.5 minutes ago. And Sellers going to be fouled. And already the bonus, in fact, the double bonus variety coming here for Ball State with 11:19 left to play.
Which obviously is big. Great patience. Just like the side-to-side, the ball rotation, the pin down, the curl cuts. They're difficult to defend. Sean Sellers can put it on the floor from the wing and make some things happen. And not coincidentally, you're seeing a couple of substitutions on the part of IUPUI, trying to get a little spark back.
Sellers now is 16. So in his first 3 games as a collegiate player, 26, 18, and 16 for Sellers.
Not a bad start.
Well, in the press release to talk about he being named the MAC West Player of the Week on Monday, when you start making references to records that Bonzi Wells holds at Ball State, as far as points scored by a freshman, that tends to get your attention.
Yeah. And look, by the time he's a senior, he's going to add 10 or 15 pounds. He's going to grow an inch or so. I mean, talk about an upside, for heaven's sakes.
First lead of the second half for Ball State. Beautiful pass by Boutte, and Brennan the finish. He's got double figures.
Well, just the big on little screen, the slip delivery by Boutte, and again, not coincidental that Aaron Brennan gets some things going for you coming back off the bench.
Calhoun, he travels. But the one thing that I like seeing by both teams today, and it's a part of basketball that seems to go away more and more every year, these teams don't have a problem getting the ball to their post guys down low and let them go to work.
Well, both play behind, but both are patient enough to do it. And I think and you make a great point. Both teams have, the ball screen mentality, like everybody else runs that type of offense. But I think they've drilled into them. Take a look at our post. Let them have a look. Let them get a touch.
Kick back for Boutte. A needed 3 for IUPUI.
Well, IUPUI needed, and so did PJ. Has not shot the ball particularly well today. Really needs that to boost his confidence.
Jaguars now 3 of 10 from three-point range. Bute's second field goal. Little 5-0 mini run by IUPUI. Calhoun stumbles off to the races. Leo Sveti in front. And Franco House picked him clean.
That's great hustle by House.
I guarantee you those two guys know each other very well. Franco
Yeah,
playing at Concord, Leo playing at Penn.
That's just great hustle. And to sprint back and not get the foul. I mean, Bute had to throw ahead to Sveti. He's the guy open, but Franco House covers a lot of ground in a short amount of time. Great patience. Good decision. And you open up the post now. You know, a little open offense. See, a lot of teams, Greg, like to get the high ball screen at the top. In this little offense, you step Brennan out off the post. You throw to him, throw wing. Then you got your ball screen on the wing, and now people have to decide. And, again, we've seen Marcellus Barksdale do this quite a bit. If he's got some space, he's going to the rim.
Barksdale's skill set a perfect complement to P.J. Bute.
No question.
An undersized point guard and a two guard that maybe plays more of a point guard style. Allows P.J. to freelance a little bit more offensively.
I don't think there's any question. And Bute can do that. I mean, he can, he can break you down off the dribble, and we know can shoot the three.
Bit of a rushed shot that time by Sveti.
But he's a little frustrated. I think you go back to the breakaway, and he hasn't shot the ball, hasn't had a great number of opportunities.
Sellers getting a breather here for Ball State. Let's see how long this lasts. Kamenicki, good move to create some space, kind of puts his head into Barksdale just enough to free up some room. Not a foul unless they call it.
Well,
bucket Ball State.
Yeah, a favorable matchup with Kamenicki and Barksdale, and got the contact, got it up there, and just, again, that's a tough spot to be in.
PUI and Georgia State next Saturday. The Jaguars play one time in between. They'll head out to play Drake in a return game from last year. Drake handled IUPUI in the gymnasium on December the 30th. That game is Tuesday night. Barksdale.
Good shot, man.
Yeah.
Good looking shot, just didn't go.
Chance to tie with a 2 or a 3 to take the lead here for the Cardinals. Belcaster, a deep 3 that falls in.
How about Belcaster? Just a good bench guy, gives you some minutes. You don't ask him to do a lot. He's got a good, clean look at it and rattles it home.
That's what he provides for this team. He was 3 of 6 the first 2 games this year from three-point range. Barksdale tries to answer and does. Or Archie, excuse me. Mason Archie, his second 3.
Yeah, but that's made possible by a great kick out on the part of Dave Ron Williams. Felt the contact, presence of mind to know that his teammate spotted up in the corner for a big 3.
So both teams that haven't been great from three-point range answer each other.
Yeah, got him on the back. And I'm wondering why Kamenicki felt the urge to shoot that. But
well, Dave Ron Williams picks up the foul. And for IUPUI, that will be his 4th. 7:42 left to play in this one. Ball State briefly reclaims the lead. Mason Archie the second answers. Jaguars lead by 2 on HT.
We can't really see from that angle, but it does. It gets a little confusing from time to time.
I wasn't going to argue with him. Let's put it that way, Bob.
There you go.
I never thought it was in doubt in the first place.
No,
Belcaster will shoot a free throw. In fact, he'll shoot 2. Double bonus.
Well, next to us is NCAA coordinator, men's basketball officials, close personal friend John Adams. Look, they need to get these right. When the man's in the house, you need to get them right.
Belcaster's first 2 free throws of the year are good. And tied at 50. Sounds about right for the tenor of this game.
That's a great point. It really does. It really does, because it's been this well played. A little zone look. I like this. If you're Coach James Whitford, let's get a little change. We just seem, we've climbed back, we've tied it up. Let's throw something different at them. This little matchup out of a 2-3.
And Barksdale traveled.
And got exactly what you wanted. Got exactly. Now, whether you stay in it or not, Greg, you got what you wanted. You got the ball back.
We saw IUPUI with a different defensive look out of the under 4 media timeout that sparked them at the end of the first half. Let's see if the same holds true for Ball State here. And worth noting, Sellers back on the floor for Ball State. He's going to get a lot of minutes for this team this season.
No question.
Quick double leaves Kamenicki open and scores.
Well, it's the classic situation. James leaves to give help inside. No one rotates down to cover James's guy, and Kamenicki wide open for a hoop. And just a communication situation for him. Stay zone, going to trap in the corner.
James had it tipped away.
Josh James does the right thing. You're taught when they're trapped in the corner, you duck in, and that's exactly what happened. But you like the fact James Whitford trying to get a little spark, as Jason Gardner did in the first half. You come out in a little different look, try to energize your guys a little bit, try to break this tie, get yourself some momentum.
Ball State going back to a man-to-man after the inbounds pass.
Well, you zone at half court. Man. If you're straight man most of the time on inbounds, it's not a bad look. IUPUI with a little flex move right now, a little flex offense.
Archie for the lead. And good hustle by Archie. Asking for a timeout and gets it before the jump ball.
Never really got his feet set. You know what? He was open, didn't get the pass where he wanted, when he wanted. Just a little out of rhythm, and that'll throw you off.
We've referenced.
We're in that lull situation right now, Greg. We just energy. Both teams need some energy. Not surprisingly, Ball State stays in the zone, shows a little 1-1-3, turns into a matchup after the first pass. And it's a nice little zone to run. I used to run it. I like it. I like how you do it. I like to get the coverage you get out of it.
Brennan from 15.
He can make that shot. Yeah, absolutely. How about Josh James again? You love how he works. Good ball rotation, good movement.
Barksdale stumbled.
Good travel and got away with it.
We can laugh about it. Ball State folks aren't smiling about it.
Good walk and didn't get it called.
The zone has really slowed IUPUI.
They're taking away those penetrating moves, except for Butte on that one. Big basket, earned it, and comes at a great time for them. They need it.
Tied at 52 all. The fans that have come to the first two IUPUI home games have not lacked for excitement. Indiana State 8 days ago, Ball State here. Archie trailing Sellers everywhere he goes. And that's going to be a hold on Archie. And 2 free throws for Sean Sellers.
Well, you got to try to come up and put pressure on him, obviously. But he's good enough, strong enough, even at this point in his career, to be able to put it on the floor. I mean, again, he gives you almost a point forward dimension when he has the ball on the wing and at the top of the key.
Last year, Greensburg beat Bowman Academy in the 3A championship game. It was a very highly anticipated matchup between those two.
Great game, too. That was a fun game.
1 point lead for the Cardinals.
And frankly, I think Coach Whitford's zone right now, because I think this group he has on the floor, he might just play the rest of the way with him. So buy a little bit of time. You got some time with him, so now you come back and to go man, show him some different looks. And you got what you needed out of it.
A lot of length on the floor right now for Ball
absolutely.
State. And despite that, IUPUI still battling down low to trying to find post position. Fouling against Franco House, and that will be his 4th. And just the 16th foul.
You just see Brendan calling for it. He's got him sealed. James on the duck in. Drops it in from the top of the key, tries to throw over. great recognition on the part of James and Brennan, because Aaron Brennan has stepped in and had Franco House pinned on his hip and spin a little spin move, and he's got him just you want the pass just a little higher toward the backboard.
Catch and shoot three for Archie. Not a bad look, just couldn't
No,
fall.
not for him. I mean, you're okay with him taking that shot.
Well, House out with 4 fouls. More size comes in for Ball State in terms of Bo Calhoun. Backdoor cut for Tyler, and James with the bump.
Yeah,
He doesn't make that bump. That's an easy layup for Ball State.
Yeah, it is. And you know, you like the fact that he's there to give the help. Just don't make the mistake. The problem, and we talked about it with just over 11 minutes, is it's bonus time. It has been bonus time for a while, which has also kind of slowed rhythm, if you will, for IUPUI.
Just 10 points for IUPUI in the last 12.